Hello and welcome to yet another tech video. In this video, I want to talk about the question, is it worth getting an Apple Watch? Now, I've had this for well over a year, almost a year and a half now. This is a Apple Series 3 watch, and I like it a lot. Now, there's some things that I don't care for, but the pros far outweigh the cons. It's not cheap, and there's a link in the description below if you want to pick this up or the latest model. This is one model away from the latest. The Series 4 has a difference, and I'll address that. But in general, an Apple Watch, is it worth getting? If you do not own an Apple iPhone, you are losing a lot of the features. So that would be a prerequisite. I would say if you have an iPhone, it's worth getting the watch. Aside from tracking your standing is the blue ring, the exercise of having an elevated heart rate is green, and general movement is red, and it tracks those all day long and makes a log on your phone. But aside from doing that, it has a heart rate monitor. The latest version has an EKG. Either way, now the EKG records more stats on your heart. However, I just want to point out something really cool. And I had a surgery last year, and they put me on fentanyl and some other stuff, and that messes with your heart rate. Well, I got a notification on my watch that said, we've noticed that you have had a sporadic heart rate and you haven't been moving. You may have a problem, a health problem. That's incredible. Now, I spoke to the doctor. They said I would have heart problems and different heart rate issues with those drugs. Some people do. I was having a reaction, so I knew what was causing it, and they said if it doesn't go away after this period of time, then let us know. However, there are stories in the news of this helping people. So that alone, if you have any kind of health concerns or health issues with your heart, it would be worth getting one of these just to get in, because we know with strokes and heart attacks and all those things that do have symptoms involved with the heart, the sooner you get in, the sooner the better. But I didn't want to make this video about health so much as about the phone, about the watch. Now, there's two versions of this. One has cell phone function, and one is dependent upon Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This one is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth version, and I do like it a lot. I don't want a cell phone on my wrist. If my phone is in the house, I could be upstairs, and my phone is downstairs in the basement, so there's a whole floor between us. This will ring, and I can actually talk on the phone through my watch like Dick Tracy. And so that's a really neat feature. I don't like it. Doesn't have the best speaker in the world, but it's great. Then I don't have to have my phone in my pocket. In fact, I have it in my pocket even less now. Text messaging is probably the best, because when I text, I can, let me pull up the text window here. Okay. So my wife sent me a text. We were talking about Easter, and she wants to know what I got for the kids. And so I have a couple options here. I can do Bitmojis. I can do a little drawing even. A heart, I love you. And I click done, and that will animate in her text message. So she's going to reply back to me. But what I want to point out here is this option. Let's go ahead and touch it. Now I can type whatever I want, or write it out with my finger, and it is very accurate. The only problems that I've had are doing the number 1 and capital letter I. So when I do a 1, I kind of do that. It took a little bit of a learning curve, but it is so cool, because you can sit in maybe a meeting and type something out, send a text very discreetly. You're not holding your phone, you're just kind of maybe looking down a little bit and scribbling on your watch. The other thing that I use all the time is this speech to the text. Speech to the text. Nice grammar. So the next feature is the speech to text. Now, this exists on the iPhone. However, it is far more useful, and I use it all the time with my watch. I don't really use it with my iPhone. And so this alone is worth it, to reply to text quickly and just send it and be on your way. just like that. My wife's going to be getting some random texts. So the texting and the phone features are great. The heart feature is great. The exercise tracking is accurate. I tested it with a Bluetooth heart monitor that straps across the chest. It wasn't as good as that, but it was pretty accurate. Another thing that I like is if I'm listening to Pandora in the car, I can thumbs up, thumbs down, skip music, see what's playing, select a playlist, all of that without having to pick up my phone. So it's really great. Playing some music there. Okay. So let's go ahead and listen to some Morrissey. Then you have the stopwatch, calendars, and all those other things. You can get this right here is a walkie-talkie feature, but we don't need to use that right now. It does have a lot of features, some of which I don't use. Now, one of the things is being waterproof. It is waterproof. I've taken it in the shower, submerged it fully, and they say that you need to push this button. It brings up that little drop, that water droplet. And what that does is it basically disables the face of the watch so that you don't get any kind of random input that I've noticed. If I go in the shower, for example, with the watch on, and I don't put it in that droplet, sometimes it's sporadically touching buttons and clicking things, and so you can run into a little bit of trouble with that. But it also, when you put it in that mode, let's say we're going to take it out of the droplet mode, and you do that just by spinning the dial here on the side. Once you spin the dial, it starts vibrating the speaker just to push out any moisture. At least I believe that's what it's doing. So we'll go ahead and... So that just kind of expels any water that's on the speaker, I suppose. Another feature that I use all the time is this ping, because I always lose my phone, always. And this option here of a flashlight. This starts out at a certain brightness and then it goes brighter. And when you have a flashlight on you at all times, you're walking through the house, it's dark, very useful if you want it to be, I don't know what you'd use this for, but you have a strobe option. And then this one's more useful if you're really trying to be discreet. Wow, it looks kind of pale there. It looks better in person. But this kind of casts a red light, so you're not brightening up the room if someone is sleeping. So it's definitely a great, and you just swipe, okay. So that's definitely a feature worth having. It has theater mode. I almost always keep it in silent mode, and it has what's called haptics. But basically there's a little vibrating buzz in there that I just got a text from my beautiful wife. And so it has a little vibrating motor that notifies you via your wrist of a text message or any notification that you may have. So let's go ahead and look at any other things. It's got other apps that are helpful, but in general, like Tile, if you want to page your keys, you can do that. Alarms. And then to charge it, I'll go ahead and get the charger here. So this is the charger. It's just a magnetic, conductive, inductive charger. And it knows when it's on the dock, and there's no current going through it, so it's not notifying it now. And you can program it so that while it's charging, it can just display the time as if you have a nightstand clock. The faces are customizable with pictures, and then there's a whole selection of other faces. But that's not really a reason to get this, unless you just want to look at pictures, but there's probably cheaper watches that do that. So at any rate, this is the Apple Watch. It is worth it to me because I was the worst at communicating, replying, answering calls, all of that. Either my phone wasn't near me or it just wasn't convenient. But the speech to text is a feature The speech-to-text feature on the texting is definitely worth having, especially if you're in situations where you don't have two hands available or you're just trying to be discreet. You can do the scribble. Anyway, it is worth it. Like I said, link in the description below to pick up an Apple Watch. And one more thing I'll talk about, and that is the face. Now, I do work around the house, work with power tools, work with things that can easily scratch it, and you can't totally tell, but there are a few scratches. See if I can get one there's one, kind of see it. I'm shocked at how resilient this is. They do sell covers for it. I've never had a cover on it. It still looks good. If you look closely at it in person, you can see some scratches on it. But in general, it's great. So that's my review of the Apple Watch. Is it worth getting? I think it is if you have those needs that I listed. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. Let me know in the comment section below if there's a smartwatch that is better than the Apple Watch that you prefer. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.